Hello, this is CJ, and I have one question for you. Who the hell are you? It's very, very funny to see Otaru suddenly sass Chibi-Usa. It was very, very unlike her. Although, don't get me wrong, I understand that this was some kind of, mistranslation or subtitle error, so, it was all good fun. This is my review of episode 28, Act 27, Infinity 1, Premonition, Part 2. Man, what an episode title. This episode covered the end of Chapter 27 and the beginning of Chapter 28 in the manga. Before we continue, I just want to clarify really quick. Running this channel, especially now with weekly reviews, is very, very stressful with a full-time job. Therefore, I'm going to try to make as few edits in this video as possible. So if you see me, look like this, that's me reading my notes. And if I stutter a bit, I do apologize. But this is going to make it a lot easier on me, and it's also going to get these reviews out to you guys a lot faster. So, let's start with the good. So, good. The art is super crisp. I love the update again. It looks beautiful. And I'm running into a little bit of a sort of crisis where if this show continues with the same quality it's at right now, or if it gets better, I'm actually going to have to recommend Sailor Moon Crystal, the third act, over the third act in the manga to newcomers to Sailor Moon. I mean, wow. I mean, for me to say that is absolutely incredible. I mean, that is a sign of a really good adaptation. Speaking of edits, I gotta take this phone call later. There was a lot of bonus scenes, little bonus adaptation. The cat that gets possessed by a daemon is shown getting possessed by said daemon by Udile? I don't know how you pronounce it. That was just my name. Speaking of that character, she speaks out instead of Cyprien at the Witches 5 meeting, which I thought was a really clever adaptation considering we're about to get this character, Udu, whatever. She is going to be a little bit more prominent coming up, so it was nice for viewers to be able to see this character more, so she doesn't just show up later out of nowhere and we're all confused as to who she is. It seems like Toei is kind of doing with the Witches 5 what they did with the 4 generals in the first arc, which I am all for because it seems like, at least this time around, they're being smart about it. You know, they're not just adding them in because they want to add them in. I mean, the Witches 5 are very popular characters, so it makes total sense on a business standpoint why they would want to include more scenes with them. But no, these scenes are smart. You know, they're world building. We're understanding the characters more, so I can't wait to see more of that, and I can hope they continue this trend. The action sequences were amazing. It was very, very cool to see some updated attack animations. A lot of these attacks, I think, and this is just me predicting, I think some people are going to complain that these animations were too similar to the sequences from the first anime. And to a point, I agree. But I think that there's enough of an update for Toei to justify themselves in this case. You know, for example, Venus Love Me chain, had the chain spiraling around Venus like it did in the original anime, but the direction was a little different. Venus herself spun a little bit around the screen, which I thought was really cool. And I have to point it out, Moon's Spiral Heart Attack looked amazing. Again, it was a little bit similar to the animation from the original anime, but they added some new stuff, like, the heart that Sailor Moon ends up forming ends up spinning on the ground like a top. That was a really, really clever adaptation, especially given the attack name. And thank you, Toei, for finally learning how to animate a spinning wand. Thank goodness, the days of the first arc of Sailor Moon Crystal seem to be behind us. The infamous episode 13 Moonstick spin, where literally it was just 2 frames where the wand was going like, that's gone. That's awesome. I mean, I'm just so happy about that. And some people actually pointed this out last time in the comments that I didn't mention that the personalities of the inner soldiers are totally back. That is awesome. The first arc of Sailor Moon Crystal was infamous for cutting out comedic scenes in the manga, and they left all of the comedic scenes in. It was great. And I really, really liked especially seeing Usagi and Chibi-Usa, fight and have all of their cue moments. That was really, really fantastic. So great, keep that up. So, with the good done, let us move on to the bad. I should clarify that I'm going to nitpick a little bit here. Really, I did enjoy the episode, and these quote-unquote bad things weren't really that bad. So, I don't know how I didn't notice this the first time around, the first episode that is, but The card that Sailor Neptune was on after the commercial break, Sailor Uranus is on the card before the commercial break, she is missing her button on her bow. Like, I guess you call that a brooch. I mean, oh man, how did they mess that up? Well, actually, I think I can figure out how they messed it up. I'm guessing that they outsourced that art to an animator or an artist, and they sent it back, you know, not knowing much about the character, and just forgot the brooch. It's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But I really, really hope they fix that for the Blu-ray. And if they don't fix that for the Blu-ray, well, I mean, they have no excuse. So yeah, that was interesting. And again, with the long transformations, you know, I gave the first episode a pass because, you know, this is the first time we're seeing the scouts transform, or rather the soldiers transform. And, you know, it totally makes sense why you'd want to see all those, you know, beautiful long transformations for the first time. Again, I totally get it. And again, you know, if having long transformation sequences means that we're going to have better animation throughout the episode, I am totally fine with that. The one thing, though, I should clarify, the one thing I had a problem with was the speeches. I mean, think about the scene from a bystander's standpoint. So, the girls are posing, and they're doing their cute little thing in front of a cat monster. Is the cat monster going to care about the speeches? I mean, Venus, you can punish me with love all you want, but this cat monster is not going to care. I mean, think about Hotaru's perspective. You know, she's looking at, like, a bunch of high schoolers who are dressed up in these fabulous sailor uniforms, you know, posing and doing this stuff, and, like, Mars is like, I'm going to chastise you with fire! And, like, I can only imagine Hotaru's like, who the hell are these guys? I mean, seriously, it makes sense that Hotaru was so sassy. I mean, they're wasting their time. No, but in all seriousness, I really hope that in future episodes, Toei realizes that, you know, the speeches are fun, but make sure these sailor soldiers are giving the speeches to someone who cares. You know, otherwise it just looks ridiculous. And as a final note, I really, really wish that Sailor Uranus and Neptune's first appearance was a little bit more like the manga. In the manga, when you first initially see them, it's in a very small panel. They're in the background. They're kind of silhouettes. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of hazy. You're not really sure what you're looking at. And in the anime, it's like right up in your face. So when, you know, Sailor Uranus and Neptune pull an episode 1 tuxedo mask, fly away into the distance kind of shot, it's not as awesome because we already know what they look like. Again, though, this is nitpicking. It wasn't really that big of a deal. I give this episode an A-. Again, like the first episode, it was great. It was a fantastic update from the first 2 arcs. You know, I'm really, really excited to see more episodes from here. But I should be very frank with you guys. I'm going to be a lot more harsh on episodes in the future. You know, now that we finally have the foundation for the rest of the season, you know, if episodes are of lesser quality from here on out, I am going to point it out. You know, I don't suspect anything is going to be as bad as some of the stuff I pointed out in my top 5 reasons you shouldn't watch Sailor Moon Crystal video. But, you know, I am going to point it out. I am going to be quite fair. If you want to like and subscribe, please do so. It really, really does help me out. And if you have your own thoughts about the episode, please comment down below. I do read the comments, and I love reading your thoughts, regardless if I agree with them or not. I mean, I just love seeing differing opinions about this new season. And until next time, this is CJ, signing off.